Hey folks, first tanks replay in a while. I've got my ship's backlog out of the way, so back to tanks it is. Probably I'll be doing a ship's replay every now and then, but I don't think they're quite as well suited to it as tanks. Certainly not to commentary, because I have to just do so much filler because World of Warships matches play so slowly. Whereas World of Tanks is much better for commentary because I can just, fill in the gaps basically. I'm also a lot more knowledgeable about tanks than boats. Hopefully my mic volume isn't too bad. I haven't really tested it, and so we'll see how we go. I'm hoping I don't have to adjust it too much though. So this is the Type 59. As you can see, it looks a little different. It's had an HD update. It hasn't really affected its gameplay much. You may have noticed from some of the other tanks that had HD remodels, the armor schemes changed rather noticeably, or the size of the tank changed. In the Type 59's case, I'd imagine probably the turret's been reworked a little, but for the most part it doesn't play any differently. I haven't really looked at it in the tank viewer, but it's easy enough to gauge the difference through gameplay. Being mines, the typical play is up the hill, managed to defeat both of the enemy light tanks that came up here, and then I start poking my nose out looking for shots on things over here. Unfortunately for me, I get spotted in the process, and the enemy charioteer gets a shot through me. Now the charioteer, of course, is a tier 8 tank destroyer with a tier 10 gun. It's an L71. That thing will punch through my tank basically no matter where it hits. The turret is not going to hold up against L71. And so I try and retreat, but my path is blocked by dead enemy tanks and live friendly tanks. Put some distance between myself and the charioteer, more importantly the tanks are spotting for him. So I'm now unspotted. As long as this KV-2 doesn't get close enough to proxy spot me, I should be able to move up and fire from this position, but for now I change my mind and notice that the enemy are threatening the ramp base of the hill. So I turn around and move on that. Our AC-48's not having a good day. See an easy kill here on the T-43. That's a gun taken out of the fight. Perhaps not the strongest gun, but it's one less than shooting at the AC-48. I don't want to get too aggressive here. I've got plenty of time to play with. Still nearly 13 minutes left in the match. I roll out for a shot on the IS-3. I have a good shot on the flat side of his pike there. The KV-4 actually nearly ate that shell. I mean, it looked like he ate that shell on my screen. Meanwhile, speaking of eating shells, I eat one in the back from the friendly bulldog. I would like to keep those hit points, but I'm not really that fast. It wasn't that big of a hit. And I'm in a pretty safe position. KV-85 is not paying attention. It looks like he actually does have the 85mm gun, not the 100, so I don't have to really worry about him. All the same, he's happily presenting an easy target to me, so I'm not going to refuse it. Using the hill here to my right as some cover and a bit of leverage to try and bait him around, I end up not getting a kill. It goes to the Chasseur de Char instead. And now I poke out looking for shots on the TDs. 101 shows his hand and missing me. Back up here a little looking for any potential shots on the charioteer, but he's not lit, and I don't want to risk driving too far out there to try and spot him because, as I said, he will punch through any part of Type 59 with ease. Now I get pushed on by a jumbo. I'm not quite sure what he thought he was going to achieve here. He's not able to really do anything to me. I'm not sure which gun he's using. That looked kind of like a 75, if I'm honest. In any case, he's not going to be able to significantly damage me, regardless of which gun he has mounted. And because he's coming around that corner, he's showing me his side armor, and so even though his front armor might still be a little worrisome, at this angle, his side is nothing. He backs off, and the KV-4 starts getting brave. He has a 122mm gun, so he is a serious problem. If you look at the crater on the right there, Wargaming have actually implemented parallax mapping for shell craters, which looks really good from a distance, but when you're right next to it like this, it looks really wonky. War Thunder uses the same system, Stalker also does it. It looks great, except at really extreme angles. War Thunder, it's more noticeable because the craters tend to be a lot bigger and a lot deeper looking, and so when you have a tank just sitting on top of what looks like a 4 or 5 meter deep crater, it's kind of absurd. In this, it's not as noticeable. I think Wargaming probably were smarter in the way they implemented that. The Charioteer's out. He should be going for the Chasseur de Char, instead he's going for me. It costs him dearly, and I knew the Chasseur de Char was going to die there, but he bought me some time to finish the cannon before that. Nice and easy. The enemy are down to 2 tanks now. They have the STA and the SU-100M1. 100M1 was last seen running to the island. I had an idea the STA is probably not gone far. That corner he's up in now is really about the safest place you can be. Not useful, but safe. Our team's actually fared quite well. It was looking a little bit tight earlier, but now it's all good. As long as we can deal with this guy and the SU-100, who is the enemy's best player by far, we have this in the bag. Now, unlike the T-54, which has seen countless remodels, the Type 59 hasn't really changed physically, other than gaining more detail. The T-54 seems to move its equipment around every time there's a remodel. The Type 59 is basically identical to what it was before, just a bit nicer looking. The 100M1 is revealed. Couldn't get a decent angle on the STA, so I came for this guy instead, and he's not quite sure who to shoot at. And down he goes. Now, before the game ends here, let's take a look at the Type 59. As you can see, the equipment layout's basically the same. Some nice rifling in the gun barrel there. They finally fixed the turret. I don't know how many of you noticed before, but the previous model the Type 59 had, when they made the turret a bit taller, they basically just grabbed the model and pulled it upwards, and it stretched the, or didn't stretch, but it made the gun sight and coax machine gun all wonky. That's been fixed, finally. I'd been complaining about that for a while, but it's finally sorted. Other than that, you know, pretty standard, equipment's all the same, but it does look really, really nice. And it's a good incentive to play this tank a bit more, I think. I really enjoy playing the tanks that have had HD remodels. It gives you something nice to look at. And I think that once they rework more of the tanks and perhaps begin working on the maps themselves, the game should easily compete with War Thunder for graphics. Armored Warfare doesn't look bad, but I'll say this, Armored Warfare's tanks look like toys. They don't look like tanks. I think I've made clear before my opinion of War Thunder's tanks, which is they look alright, but they don't, like, the material definition's not quite there. This is probably closest to what it should actually look like, where you've got the, you know, the metals scraped down to bare surface where the crew's feet would go, and dusted in sensible places. War Thunder, it looks kind of like they've just gone over the whole thing with a grunge brush in Photoshop. But I mean, they're both quite nice looking games. War Thunder does have the overall sort of graphics edge over World of Tanks at the moment, but I think given a couple more patches, World of Tanks should probably regain competitiveness there. The tanks are already there. The tanks, honestly, are already past there. But nice cruisy Type 59 game to kind of get back into the swing of things and show how the tank hasn't changed at all, basically. You know, still standard stuff. Now, I did have 4 replays that I wanted to record before this one. That didn't happen because there was a micro patch, and I didn't realize that the micro patch broke replays until I went to record them and found that none of them work. So those 4 I'll have to sort out later. I may or may not be able to eventually record them. I'm hoping I can, because I had 2 fantastic T-71 games, probably my best 2 light tank games in quite a long time. But wouldn't you know it, the mediocre Type 59 game is fine, whereas the excellent T-71 game is glitched and won't play. Other than that, I've got quite a few replays. I've got some of the 59 pattern, which is the new Chinese premium tank. It was one of the special rare weapons things. I couldn't help but pick it up just because it looks so adorably stupid. It's actually kind of fun. It's interesting. I'll talk more at length on that tank when I do the replay for it, which should be the next match after this one. Then I've got some other stuff, including the T110 E5. Now, if this thing hasn't changed through its remodel, the E5 has. Again, I'll cover that when I get to it, but suffice to say that the T110 E5 is enjoying a second wind right now. There's probably a bunch of stuff I was going to say that I've forgotten, because I just do these unscripted, because I'm lazy, but that's about the sum of it. At the moment, I'm just going to try and knock these over quickly so I can have no backlog by the time 10.0 comes along and the British get their tanks replaced. The Action X, or Action 10 Centurion, and the Chieftain Mark 6 are coming along next patch, and both of them look absolutely fucking fantastic. There's also a bunch of other HD remodels for tanks I like to play, so I should have some of those up. Anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry it's taken me so long to get around to actually going back into the tanks replays. Sorry the ships ones took so much time. Honestly, it's just like, I couldn't be bothered. And so, like I said, if I do ship stuff, it's going to be a lot less frequent. I'm also going to be doing probably a bit less tank stuff. I know I've said this about 5 times now, but it is a bit over the top, the amount of stuff I upload. I'll probably start trying to filter based on, you know, unique matches or new tanks and stuff like that. And maybe get some more stuff from other games up on the channel, or just take a break. I'll figure it out later. Anyway, yep, that's pretty much it. So, thanks for bearing with me. And I will see you on the next one in the 59 pattern.